Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another gameplay video. Today we're playing some Hearts of Iron 4, as usual, you know. Anyway, so where we left off was that we were massing at the German border here. What the issue was is that we tried declaring war on these two countries, but it turns out that they're actually being guaranteed by foreign powers. So I can't really do that, and Germany isn't being guaranteed by anybody, so we're going to be able to declare war on them. But the problem is that Germany is in a faction with Italy. And if we try to declare war on Germany, Italy is also going to declare war on us, most likely. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to be able to not only fortify this area, but also fortify this area right here. What I'm thinking is I'm just going to wait for Germany to continue this onslaught over here with the French, because they pulled some of their troops off the border. But I'd like to occupy the German border so they keep some troops over here in the first place. So they're not occupying, so they're not using all of their military force to defeat the French, because we don't want that to happen. We want the French to stay alive. Even though they're not communists and they haven't embraced the People's Revolution, we'd still like them to stay alive. Okay, so up here we got some low manpower, and we're not too worried about that. We can always just change our conscription laws. Probably going to change it to extensive conscription shortly, as soon as that hits 150. And we got some free dockyards. So we could be continuing to make convoys, but I'd like to actually make some. Should I make some more? Yeah, let's just make some more convoys, and after a while we'll start making some battleships and stuff as soon as we get our technology up. And so our last episode being so uneventful, like I didn't expect not to declare war on that episode. You know what I mean? I expected to take over Romania, then take over Yugoslavia, but turns out the Allies were being asses, and they decided to guarantee the independence of both those countries, which I don't blame them, but still, it's kind of annoying. Anyway, let's get this going. I also noticed that I should probably turn off night and day. It might be getting annoying. So there we go. It looks like we have some Republican Spain, some Spanish troops coming in through the Soviet territory, and we have insufficient resources. So it shows us that we have a lack of steel. So let's actually just ask for more steel from the Soviet Union. We don't need more steel from the Soviet Union. Since we're not at war right now, we shouldn't really need that at this point. You know, it's not good to trade away your civilian factories if you're not at war. Which we should actually make some more civilian factories, because I've been reluctant to do that for quite some time. After I ended the fourth episode, I was just kind of sitting here and thinking about what I was going to do for the next one. And I was like, I should probably start actually thinking about what I'm going to do, other than just doing shit on the fly. Because that's what I haven't been doing that, but I have been second guessing my own decisions and stuff like that. That's why I didn't declare war on Romania and Yugoslavia. It's because I didn't really plan all that well. But let's hope that we're planning well this time. So we're gonna get some light tanks out, and these light tanks will allow us to build tanks faster, hopefully. So we don't have to keep constructing giant large tanks, even though we're not actually doing that right now. And large tanks take a longer time to make, so for this, what we're going to do is we're going to get construction 3 up. And after this land doctrine right here, we're going to stop doing that for a second and then start getting our aerial technology up. Let's modify government, change our conscription laws to extensive. There we go. Manpower is 1.84 million soldiers. Nice. Okay, we got some more motorized coming in. So after this next wave of motorized comes in, this next wave of infantry, let's shift the balance of how we're making our troops, because by the time these guys are done, the tanks should be done researching. They should be. That is the goal. But it seems down here forces comparison are roughly equal. So this says that the border between us and Germany is relatively equally defended on both sides. So that's always good. At least I know that if they attack me, they're not going to get very far. But if I attack them, the same principle applies. So we have to figure out a way that we can defeat the German lines and have an overwhelming force against theirs. And it seems the Italians have pulled off the border and are probably over here in southern Spain trying to push, or there might be actually an invasion going on. I'm not entirely sure. Nope. Okay. No template. Heavy tank. Equipment being produced without a template. Am I producing heavy tanks? Oh, yes I am. How about that? I actually need steel and chromium, which I don't have right now. Considering I'm going to go to war, let's actually trade away some of our citizen factories for steel and chromium. So let's start upgrading. Let's get some anti-tank, since the Germans like using tanks a lot, the panzers and shit. And then let's start getting our aerial technology up, especially our close air support. We really want close air. I don't know why I didn't get close air support earlier. Okay. So recruit. We should be recruiting. Let's get all these guys and then stop. And let's put these guys at the front line. I don't know why they're all going here. That's weird. Just group up in this one province. What? Well, it seems like the Germans are shifting, though, to compensate for that. But anyway, so we're creating heavy tanks, but we're not doing it very efficiently. As you can see, the production that we're making one a month, and we should be making one a week. So we don't have enough steel or enough chromium. So let's do it. Let's get some more steel. Ask for more steel from the Soviet Union, which should assist us in that aspect. No, it won't. We actually need to ask for more steel. Hold on a second. Everybody wait. Chill out. Trade. Steel. Steel. There we go. And then we need chromium, which I think that should be sufficient enough. That should suffice. Yep, there we go. So we're making one a week, and we could be making 3 a week or 4 a week, as this says. But that's because our production efficiency is so low right now. As soon as that starts getting up, we'll be making a hell of a lot more tanks. But for right now, we're not really doing all that. So let's edit this division here. So let's actually make a new division. So we do that by clicking the duplicate button. And then we can name this division. So I'm just going to name it... I hear the keyboard clacking. Just name it Heavy Division. And then we're going to have... should I have a recon company helping out with this? I don't think let's just have a recon company helping out with these heavy tanks, and let's change the symbol to here. Okay, so now we actually have to change what's in this division here. So that's essentially it. We're gonna have 3 tanks and then 3 motorized infantry. So this will put use to our motorized infantry production, but it'll also put use to our tank production. So if we train, just add 2 and then stick them in Vienna. Oh, what's going on? Hold on, pause. Germany declared war on Belgium. Well, this is typical. You see, the reason why Germany declared war on Belgium and the Netherlands is because you can see here the Maginot Line. It has a whole lot of forts. We're not able to see it now since we don't have reconnaissance in that territory. But there's just forts fucking everywhere, all over this line, and the Germans weren't able to break through it. So what they decided to do is, instead of trying to use all their manpower and all of their force to try to break through this French line here, they decided to actually attack through Belgium, which means this line right here isn't defended by any forts at all. It may not be. I'm not sure. I'm not, because the French actually have an idea, a national focus that makes this line defended, that puts force at this line. But the Germans attacked through Belgium and through the Netherlands to get into France. That's essentially how they lost. It's how they got to Paris. But anyway, so there are faction members justifying war goals. So it looks like the Soviet Union is justifying a war goal against Romania. So if I want to do anything, I'm probably going to have to go and stop Romania from attacking me. Because since I'm in the same faction as Romania, they might attempt to take some territories down here. So let's just pull off a couple soldiers, put them in a new military, put them in a new army, and then stick them down here on the border. And let's get this guy, Alfred Ritter von Hubicki. Oh man, let's name this the Heroes of Romania. So the Romanian people, there's supposed to be a space, so the Romanian people can be free of their bourgeois oppressors. Okay, so let's see what we have here now. Insufficient resources. We still have insufficient steel and chromium, which at this point I really don't want to continue to take away civilian factories, but as you know, military factories begin to increase, obviously the heavy tanks are going to use more and more resources. But especially for a size of this army here, I'm probably going to need some more infantry equipment production, because you can see now I'm making 196.35 a day, and we're actually stockpiling it right now. But eventually that stockpile is going to run out, and I'm just going to have to base all of my resupply just on my production efficiency of infantry equipment, which isn't actually the best right now, because I only have one. Because you can actually produce more. Oh, look at that! I can produce. Oh golly! And there's another infantry production down here. So let's change that. Let's move this up here. Let's add that, and then just get rid of this. Okay, cool. Now that will start upgrading all of my infantry equipment to infantry equipment 2, which gives all these effects as you see here. So that should be really helpful for conquering and defending and things like that. Okay, insufficient resources. Still, actually need 19 steel now. God damn. Oh man, I hate trading away civilian factories, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, there's no national focus. Let's get equipment effort so we can get that equipment up. So we can get some modernized equipment, so we're not fucking like using muskets and shit against Panzer tanks. Let's get the second light tank, because we're not gonna start producing the first type of light tanks. We're gonna go right into producing the second one, because I don't feel like doing all the upgrades and stuff like that. Okay, the troops are slowly moving down to the Romanian border here. And this area right here is mountainous, so this is actually be quite easily to defend. Oh wait, did they declare war? Was that a war declaration? Or did they just demand a territory and then they gave it to them? Yeah, Yugoslavia just demanded. I mean, Soviet Union just demanded the territory. Demanded Bessarabia or Bessarabia. Yeah. Okay. Cool. You see, don't even try. Just don't even think. I can't pronounce words correctly, apparently, so just bear with me if I pronounce something wrong. I apologize. But let's make an offensive line just in case this war actually happens. Whoa, don't do that. Just make an offensive line there. Okay, and just in case this war happens, we'll be ready. We're ready to defend our borders. Might even take a little bit of territory if that's useful at all. So, okay. Soviet Union claims Bessarabia, if that's how it's pronounced. After massing forces along the Romanian border, the Soviet Union has issued an ultimatum to the government in Bucharest for the immediate transfer of Bessarabia. That's how it's pronounced. If it's Bucharest or Bucharest, I'm not entirely sure, to their control. The region once belonged to the Russian Empire, which the Soviet Union sees as sufficient legal basis for their demands. Romania has declared that it has no choice but to accede, and its forces have been withdrawn from Bessarabia. Bessar, whatever the fuck. Interesting. It is truly interesting because it helps me out a lot. stops me from having to deal with Romania for a little while. Until, you know, the Soviet Union decides to attack and fuck everything up. Okay. Justifying war against Estonia as well. Soviet Union, fucking calm down. Seriously. So we're not going to go with mechanized defensive. We're actually going to go over here to our air, and then we're going to get wait, what are we going to get? Oh, that's right, heavy fighters. Heavy fighters are good for taking down bombers and stuff like that. So since we're going to go against Germany, they're going to have a lot of bombers, so we're going to want to get a lot of heavy air in there. Heavy fighters. But I did make my German line here significantly weaker because I pulled those troops off. But hey, fuck it. And apparently, we're not the superior enemy here. Oh, it's because the Germans just left it up to me. They were just like, fuck it. They just left. I mean, not the Germans, the Russians. Just look at it. They're all leaving. They're like, Austria-Hungary's got it. Are they still justifying a war goal? Apparently they're fascist now. No, they're actually not justifying a war goal. But we're going to keep on that border anyway. Until something bad happens. They join the Axis powers. Okay, that's great. So let's that gives us even more incentive to stay on the border. So steel. We need more steel. God damn, dude. How much fucking steel do you need? Really? What the fuck? Motorized equipment. Let's get small arms research time. So the bad thing is about Romania becoming fascist before it was democratic, because now it has no restrictions on what it can do with its economy and its military. That means that it can do essentially everything that I can. You know, start a war economy. You know, do extensive or even service by requirement. All adults serve scraping the barrel. I have export focus on. That's probably why I'm losing so much resources. I'm actually going to do limited exports really soon, as soon as that gets up there. But yeah, there's no restrictions on Romania now, so they should be becoming much more powerful as time goes on. But I would like to influence a country to become communist. If there's a nation here that is relatively communist already, I'd like to influence them to change over to the People's Revolution, and I might just be looking at Yugoslavia to do it. Luxembourg has capitulated. Oh no. The Luxembourg government has gone into exile, and their main forces have capitulated to German Reich, who is now in control of their home area. So I just heard a firework go off outside. Anybody else hear that? Like, what the fuck? That's probably artillery. Probably being attacked right now. Oh. Struggles in Luxembourg was only a small part of the conflict. The war between German Reich and what remains of allies continues elsewhere. This is indeed uncertain times. Well, that's not actually much of a significant development for the Germans. I mean, they took Luxembourg, which is obviously a country. Poor Romania. If only you were strong enough to defeat the Soviet Union, you wouldn't let them bully you around so much. I feel for you, brother. I feel for you. Okay, Soviet Union against Latvia. For fuck's sake, what the fuck happened to Estonia? It disappeared. It magically just disappeared. So I guess once the Soviet Union reaches down here, they're probably going to justify war goal against the Germans. At that point, that's when we strike. There's like fireworks going off outside of my house right now, and it's kind of creeping me out. It's not even nighttime at all. That's why I'm confused. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing shooting fireworks off during the day? You can barely see them go into the sky. And when they explode, it doesn't create that effect and feel that it would at night. And that that light emitting from the burning, whatever the fuck they're called, that are popping out of that firework. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ. There's fireworks just going off outside of my house, and I'm not sure. And is there anything happening today? Is there like a fucking particular celebration? I'm a little confused. I know today was a holiday, for fuck's sake. That's funky. That's fucking weird. Alright. So, let's take a look at our production or recruitment. So, it looks like we don't actually have a whole lot of heavy tanks. So, Germany's declaring war on Denmark now. Japanese diplomats in Berlin. Okay, so a new partnership in development between Tokyo and Berlin. Negotiations have begun for a pact between the two states, citing both strategic interests and shared values. While it remains to be seen what, if anything, comes from these negotiations, the prospect of a friendship between some of the strongest military forces on each hemisphere is a cause to worry for their many enemies. It might be best if nothing came of this. Well, if there's diplomats in a foreign country, you know, shaking hands and shit's coming of it, you know what I'm saying? Shit's hitting the fucking fan. This right here is a choke point for the Germans. It's just like a little pocket here. I don't find this to be too particularly hard to take right here. This is actually this should be easy to take. This shouldn't be too terribly difficult, but the same goes for this area right here. Even though mine's more spaced out, it's still surrounded by Germans here. But this one's actually like legitimately surrounded, so I think we should be good. And so is the Ostprussian, if that's how you pronounce it, or Ostprussian. And let's get the extra research slot, because that's actually, what's ideological fanaticism? Okay, so we can actually get ideological ideological fanaticism, which grants the effects of gain national spirit. Ideological fanaticism, which grants national unity plus 5%, division attack on core territory plus 10%, division defense on core territory plus 10%, and I can create a faction. And it allows for kamikaze strike air missions, suicide attacks against enemy ships. So what you can do is, when you create a faction, you essentially create something like the Axis or the Comintern or the Allies, and then you can ask other countries if they'd like to join your faction. So if there's actually a tab down here, if I click on the Factions tab, you'll see that there's the Axis, and then there's the Allies, and then there's the Comintern, which I'm a part of. And you can see just the different countries that are a part of these different factions. And you can see there's actually a fourth faction called the Chinese United Front against the Japanese Imperial Invaders. But you can see they're fighting back. And they're actually fighting back pretty nicely. I didn't expect that. Because sometimes the Chinese win and sometimes the Chinese don't. But it seems like most of the time the Chinese actually have the ability to push them back, which is quite interesting. But the U.S. isn't part of the Allies yet. So we shouldn't really have to worry about the United States. Since we're part of the Comintern, we're not kind of the Axis right now, so we're not really attempting to destroy the Allies. And you see the Germans actually broke through the French Maginot Line here, so that spells a pretty bad situation for the French. It looks like they're actually cut off in Strasbourg in this little province over here. So that's bad. That's not good for them. But we don't care. We're not capitalists. We're not bourgeois scum. So we got some free civilian factories. Let's start making some more military factories over here in the corners of our nation, because we don't want to keep building too many military factories over here on the border, just in case the Germans push us back. We still want to have that intense production efficiency over here in the eastern part of our country, other than the western part, just in case we do get pushed back. Okay, it's 1940 right now, so the best thing I think we should do is just do some more excavation. This will just increase our resource yield, so we'll get more resources out of, you know, the deposits that we have in our country. And since we have this idea, the ideas of the national focus of the land of the And since we have the this thing, where's it at? Right here, like small arms company and shit like that, and then we have the national focus of equipment effort, we'll actually have the ability to research equipment a lot faster. So let's research improved infantry equipment. We could research anti-tank, which only takes 168 days. Should I do that? Should I give my soldiers the ability to have anti-tank equipment? It'll give me a significant boost in hard attack and piercing, especially piercing, a plus 100%. That's insane. And normally things would take like 313 days to research at this time, but this one takes 168 days. So let's actually get anti-tank infantry equipment, because that would be quite useful against the Germans, like I said before, because they have a lot of tanks and shit, you know. The one tank, after I say that, only one tank appears. No, there's quite a few tanks over here. That's the whole point of the German military, is the Blitzkrieg offensive, and that requires a pretty good spearhead of tanks. So that's kind of the point. So Xin Sheng, if that's how you pronounce it, join the Comintern. That's nice. And let's actually expand this front line over here, since the Soviets decided to take Lithuania. But it seems like the Soviets are just kind of fucking expanding their front lines anyway to that very area. So we may not actually have to worry about East Prussia. We may only have to worry about Romania and then the actual full front line of the German Empire. But the bad thing is, we don't want the Germans to get too powerful, so at any point now Russia should probably declare war. Oh shit, we can actually... Okay. Never mind. Thuringen, send. How about that? Look at that. We're now justifying a war against the German Empire, or the German Reich. And now, when we declare war on the German Reich, a couple of things are going to happen. One, Italy is going to join in, obviously, and Romania as well. Both of these countries are going to join in because they obviously want the German Reich to stay alive. Whoops. Sorry about that. They obviously want the German Reich to stay alive. So what we're going to have to do is the next troops that we bring in are going to have to be defending this border, because the Soviets over here are actually defending East Prussia quite well. But the problem is that Finland is rejecting Soviet demands. So essentially what that means is that the Soviet diplomats have presented an ultimatum to the government of Finland demanding border adjustments in the region of Karelia. Despite a significant buildup of Soviet forces on the border, Helsinki, if that's how you pronounce it, has rejected these demands, stating that not a single foot of Finnish soil will be given willingly to the Russian aggressors. International observers fear that a Soviet invasion may be imminent. They will soon recognize their error. Okay, so let's just stop here and just kind of recap on what we've done so far. So essentially what's going on in this world is that Germany is pushing France back. Italy is actually attacking, I'm pretty sure, the French down here in the south. So the French are kind of divided on what they could be doing right now. Doesn't seem like the United Kingdom's helping at all, because usually if I see the UK helping, the Germans aren't able to really get into French territory at all, actually. But yeah, so pretty uneventful another episode today, but I think it's more eventful than the last one, because Russia took, this territory. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it in this one. And Romania has joined the Axis powers and became Legionary Romania, which is not good for us, but good for Germany. And it seems that, the Allies are winning here in Africa. The United States hasn't joined the Allies yet, so that's good for Germany so far. Republican Spain hasn't actually done anything so far. Haven't joined the Comintern yet, which they should do. I'm not sure why they haven't. I wish I could ask them if they could. But yeah, and essentially with our nation, we're amassing at the German border, and we've massed at the Romanian border in order to defend our country from foreign invaders. So that's essentially all we've been doing right now. That we've been just simply preparing to attack the German Reich. That's pretty much all we've been doing this whole time, and just watching the Soviet Union take over, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania up here in the north, up there in the Baltic states. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Hearts of Iron 4 isn't an extremely eventful game, but it's fun. It's fun in the meantime. So if you enjoy it, I'll continue. If you don't enjoy it, just tell me you don't enjoy it. And if enough people tell me that they don't want me to play Hearts of Iron 4 anymore, that's the majority. So I'm gonna be like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna play it anymore. But anyway, I think you guys enjoy it, considering the views and shit that I've been getting. And it's just extraordinary. I'm so thankful for that. I honestly can't believe it, to be honest with you. I've gained more subscribers I have in this week, in these couple of days than I had in the past 3 weeks. So I'm very excited that I'm growing at that rate. It's not a whole lot. A couple of subscribers is like, to somebody it might be but to me it's a fantastic development, and I believe that if we continue on this path, we'll be doing great things one day. It comes to the question. I actually have to make an announcement, or actually a question, really. Should I dedicate this channel to games, to strategy games, or should I continue to do what I was doing before? Like before, I was making videos on like The Forest, Omnibus, Turbo Dismount, Fallout 4. Should I continue to make videos on those types of games, or should I actually make videos on strategy games only? Games like Europa, Universalis 4, Hearts of Iron 4, Hearts of Iron 3, games like Crusader Kings 2, and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Or games like, Total War, the Total War series, Empire Total War, Napoleon Total War, even all the way up to Warhammer. People would like to see that, because I started doing this series because I love strategy games. I love playing Hearts of Iron. I can also play games like Civ 5 and stuff, but I love playing Hearts of Iron games. They're so fun. I enjoy them thoroughly. But I'd still like to know if you guys would like me to continue on just playing strategy games from this point out. Because, I'm not doing it because it brought views in, because it's obviously a good thing. I'd like it when people are viewing my channel, viewing my content and stuff. I work really hard on it. But what I'm saying is that I'm doing it to entertain you, since a lot of my subscribers are coming in because of this strategy games. I don't want to, start doing the other thing again and just lose them all, because they're like, well, this guy's not doing strategy. Why should we even attempt to watch him if he's not going to do strategy anymore? So that's just what I'm asking you guys. If you'd like to see strategy games, then just post that stuff in the comments. If you'd like me to just dedicate this to strategy games, or if you'd like to see other types of content, other other genres of games as well. I don't know. I might even make a separate channel, separating the two. I don't know. So post your opinion down there in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.